What's up, you guys? How are you? How have you been? I know it's been long, but yeah, I'm right here. It's so nice to see you all back again. And I know it's been long, but yeah, you might have seen glimpse of here and there what I've been doing, where I've been traveling. So that was all about it. I've been pretty good. I've been traveling a lot, and it's been a good month. Yeah, so far so good. I really hope you all are healthy and safe. And let me tell you one more thing, this is my happy place. I am just so happy to be here, talking, sitting, and doing what I love to do. So, in today's video, we will have a face off between my foundation brushes and a blender. Whether using a foundation brush is better or a blender. But towards the end of the day, it comes down to all your personal preference. I prefer both. I do not have any favorites. It really depends and depends on products as well. What kind of products are you using? It is a cream or a liquid foundation or a matte foundation. So it really depends. But we are going to narrow it down and see if you had to pick and choose any one, which one would you choose? A brush or a blender? So to make it a bit more challenging, I am going to use a matte foundation because matte foundations are pretty tricky to blend. If they are not blended pretty quickly, they can just settle down as they are. If you have applied it over here, it is going to be patchy. So you have to be pretty quick in blending. And moreover, with brushes, they have the tendency to leave streaks and lines. So we will see. So to have a nice layout, I went ahead and again moisturized my face. My skin is well prepped, so there's going to be no chance of one or the other not working well. You know what I mean? So on this side of my face, I'm going to use a brush, and on the other side, I will use the blender. Right and left, right and left. I hope I have a track of it. I don't get confused. I'm taking my foundation on the back of my hand. I'm mixing two shades because one is a bit darker for my skin right now. I'm going to zoom you all pretty close so that you have a very clear view of how my skin is going to look. Is it better? Good. You have a clear view. Can you see my pores, blackhead, acne, everything? Good. Damn, I forgot which side I said what. Okay, I think I will do my right side, the brush side, and this side on my left would be the blender. So right here we got three brushes. One is a flat brush, other one is a dense brush, and this one is dual fiber brush. So basically this brush is just for applying foundation. It is not going to be useful for blending. It will definitely leave you a lot of streaks if you try to blend with it. I would prefer either of these. These work phenomenally with any of the liquid or cream products. And yeah, I will show you both. So the thing with brushes is they are designed not to absorb products, so whatever you apply is going to stay on top of your skin. And you have to work in stippling motions. Otherwise, you will see a lot of patches. You see? If you drag the product like this, it is going to give you a lot of streaks. Like I have a lot of streak over here, and it's not going to deposit the product evenly. It will just move the product here and there. So it is always advisable to stipple. If you use little product at a time and deposit in the areas where you need it and take more as required, so you can actually get a nice finish like how I have right now. You see, on my forehead I'm going to use the stippling brush right over here. Take little at a time and deposit where you need it, and it should be good. So this is how this side is going to look. It is pretty evenly distributed, and the foundation is also beautiful. Now, when it comes to sponges, you have to make sure the sponge is pretty squishy. I mean, if the sponge is firm, you will not get that payoff. You do not have to go and buy a really expensive sponge for it to be functional. This is by Real Techniques and it works pretty amazing. Elf has a really good one, the Elf Camo sponge. It is amazing. It is pretty affordable, and just make sure it has a lot of, squishy, so it absorbs, and it absorbs well, it bounces well, so, and it's very ergonomic, um, if you know what I mean. It has to be very soft in order to perform well. So let's dive in. I am just going to take the sponge. So when you take it in a sponge, you immediately see that it is going to absorb a lot of product, and that's the reason that sponges work beautifully. Even after blending it with a brush, I will still go ahead and use a sponge so that areas which have a lot of product deposit, I can absorb it. It makes sure that your foundation is flawless. So let's get started. Again, with sponges as well, you have to make sure that you stipple. Stippling is this motion where you dab it, you don't drag it. Because they are damp, it makes sure that the product is completely pushed in to your skin. You see the difference? This is the brush side and this is the sponge side. Just because sponge was able to absorb a lot more product in it, it deposited exactly a very thin layer of foundation. Versus here, I have got a thick layer of foundation, which I will have to again dab it off with a sponge so that it doesn't become cakey, because after foundation, you're obviously going to use maybe a very light translucent powder, your bronzer, your blush, your contour, whatever you're going to place. I mean, it is going to be layered up above the foundation. So yeah, that's why this comes handy. And if I want a bit more coverage over here, I can go ahead and apply more. So I'm going to increase the coverage over here. I have taken a lot product and I'm just going to deposit over here. So with sponges, when you stipple, the product is pushed in and the excess is absorbed. That is why you get a flawless finish. Not that I'm saying brushes don't work well, you just have to use little at a time with a brush, and a right brush can do wonders. And remember, brushes are investments. They last you a really long time, whereas sponges, you have to replace them every month and you have to make sure that you keep them clean. Actually, you keep everything clean. You need to sanitize everything. Now both the sides are complete. You can see it clearly. One on this side, the sponge side, is more luminous and it has more even dispersion of product. Whereas this side, I mean, this side is not bad too, but it's pretty dry. That's the only difference, and that's the reason I chose a matte foundation to show the actual difference. Had it been a liquid or a cream product, you really wouldn't have seen any difference, because brushes do work beautifully. This is the foundation brush side, and this is the blender side. They both are pretty equal, but remember, I did go ahead and dab my other side with the blender because it was too dry for my taste. If you blend the concealer with a brush, you're going to have more control over it, like how much you want it blended and the area, Over here, how much ever I deposited, I had to blend it, and the excess was not absorbed. Let's see how this performs over here. You see the difference? So with brushes, you have to be very careful how much you deposit. Whereas with a blender, the excess will be absorbed by the blender, hence you will not have a cakey finish, and you can be excused basically, but you cannot excuse yourself with a brush. So I'll quickly do my entire face and we'll be right back. So here it is. How does it look? This is the final result. I really like both the sides. Just the differences with brush and a matte liquid foundation, you have to be pretty mindful. Otherwise, it looks good. However, I would tell you the best part about a blender is that towards the end of your makeup, when you set your face, if you go ahead and press those areas where you have powdered and where you have your highlights, trust me, it will make it look seamless. This is actually the secret to my flawless face. This is what I was talking about. These areas. I had to pick and choose if I was traveling or if I had to be very quick and do my makeup. I would go ahead and choose a blender. But I definitely, sometimes put my foundation with a brush first and then use a blender. But obviously, blender is a very important component of my foundation routine. Foundation, concealer, cream, bronzer, liquid blush, name it. It has been a very important thing to me. And if you want a flawless base without any streaks, lines, if you have dry skin especially, what you can do is put your moisturizer with a blender when you prep your skin. So the blender will have all the moisturizer in it, and then go ahead and press your foundation with it and it will perform beautifully. You can do that with brush as well. However, as we already discussed, brushes do not have the tendency to absorb products. So when you stipple the brush, it will only deposit the product, making it a very thick layer. So you have to be very mindful. Start with less foundation or whatever the product you're using and slowly build it up. Or if you're in a hurry and you just want to get the job done but flawlessly, this is what I would go. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did, or this was informative for you. If not, I hope you enjoyed just looking at me maybe. Thank you so much for making till the end of this video and tuning in with me today. And please subscribe. I mean, if it's not right that you come here, watch my videos and do not subscribe. I mean, you want to watch it, don't want to watch it, decide and subscribe right now and ring the bell to all so you're notified whenever I post a new video. Until then, I will see you again. Bye. I love you all.